Hey everybody, this is Nat C. Jones here. Thank you so much for visiting my channel. I really appreciate you being here. So today we want to talk about Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors. So he came out with his interview a couple days ago, and everybody had been waiting to hear from him about what happened with the case, why he ended up being found guilty, and all that jazz. You know all the details. I'm not here to talk about legal documents. I'm not here to talk about the details of the case. I'm here to talk about Jonathan's emotional state. During the interview, he was very emotional. He was fighting back tears. He was expressing remorse and regret for a lot of things. But again, he did not admit to putting his hands on that woman and abusing any woman. What's interesting about this is that a lot of people feel like, they've already decided that he's guilty. Some people have decided that he's guilty. Some people have decided some other things. The people that have decided that he's guilty, it's interesting because, like I mentioned to you in the past, I believe that we see people through a lens that's not accurate. We see people based on what we've experienced, what we believe in our small little corner of the world. And a lot of times we don't understand that things aren't always as they seem to us. For instance, I spoke to a woman who has been in an abusive relationship, and she said that she knew that Jonathan Majors did it because of the way he looked. And you could not convince her that he was not abusive. When you're talking to people, you have to realize there's some people that are going to have their mind made up about you no matter what it is you do because of what they've been through. And you have no control over that. There's some people that refuse to treat me with respect because I'm black. There's some people who don't trust me because I'm a woman. People have had some seriously negative experiences in life. And in order to protect themselves, they look at people that resemble the person that hurt them and say, you are just like that person. Okay? I am doing my best in 2024 to be positive, to look for the silver lining, to believe the best about people. I know that people do wrong. We all do wrong things. But I continue to believe and understand that no matter what a person does, at one point that person was a child, and all children are innocent. Something happens along the way that changes us from being innocent children to now being these adults with all these issues that cause us to do things that we shouldn't be doing. We hurt people, we commit crime, but it's a complicated story. It's a journey, but everybody at some point was a little helpless baby, and that helps me to approach people with love because I understand that life happens and it affects people in different ways. So I'm not one of those people that believes that Jonathan Majors is abusive just because he has a very strong face. He's a little quirky and different. He's a man. He's black. I don't automatically think that he's guilty because of those things. And after seeing the evidence, I believe they had a tumultuous relationship, as he shared, and things got out of hand. This proves that there's some people, no matter how attracted you are to them, you should not be with them. They do not bring the best out of you. And if people don't bring the best out of you, they should be out of your life. I don't care how they make you feel deep down in your pants. Please, in 2024, if you see red flags, run for the hills. Okay? And I don't blame the white girl either. This is about race to a lot of people. I know there are a lot of black women that feel like, hey, that's what he get for playing in the snow. Playing in the snow means when a black person dates a white person. That's what he gets for playing in the snow. He should have known better than that. We are tropical people. We have no business playing in the snow. There are some black people that believe that white people cannot be trusted, especially white women in relationships in regards to black men, just because of the history of what has happened between black men and white women shoot, from civil rights on forward, black men are always going to be perceived as guilty in any situation that involves a white woman. But sometimes they are guilty and sometimes they're not. But I'm not going to demonize this woman either, because you don't know what kind of lifestyle she had growing up. You don't know what she went through. All I know is that relationships are complicated. You can fall in love with someone of a different race and it be a real authentic love. All white people are not racist. All white people are not evil. But when you're in an interracial relationship, you're asking for trouble. There are going to be some things you have to deal with that people who date inside their race don't have to deal with. And so a lot of people felt like, oh, once he got in trouble, now he's grabbing onto a black woman. So now he's dating Meagan Good. What I saw in the interview, I watched the interview last night, was a broken man. And I know he's an actor. People are saying, oh, well, anybody can cry. Anybody can act. He's a professional actor. He's lying. Just because he's crying doesn't mean that he's genuine. But I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. And he looked like he was really broken. He said he was surprised that the verdict came out the way it did, especially considering the evidence. And he did everything within his power to keep from hurting her or doing anything wrong, because he understands the system and he was trying to get away from her. And he's the one that called the cops. But our judicial system is not perfect. It's far from perfect. Black people understand that more than anyone. Black men especially. And now he's in a relationship with Meagan Good. And she looked like she was really in love with him. She looked like she was really concerned about him. He confessed to being depressed and having struggled with depression his entire life from childhood up until now, which was really a big thing to share. I think it was really embarrassing for him to have those text messages come out. Like, there's no privacy for celebrities in this day and age. It's so scary. Like, you don't have the space to be imperfect. You can't be weak. You can't have a weak moment. At some point, somebody's going to screenshot it and share it, or it's going to come up in a deposition. And it's just like, he had a moment where he was beating himself up. He said, I'm a monster, something like I deserve to die, or something like that, where the lady asked him, were you suicidal? And he said, yes, he was suicidal. And he shared that he had been struggling with depression his entire life. We didn't know that. The only reason we know that is because of this case. And I felt really sorry for him that he had to share something that embarrassing. When you are suicidal and you're vulnerable like that, and you're sharing it with someone that you love because you trust that this is just between me and you, and now the whole world knows your weakness, especially as a black man who has to present himself as strong, I felt bad for him. That's a secret that you should only share when you really, really trust someone. And you cannot trust the world. The world will tear you to shreds, and the world does not care about your weakness. So my heart went out to him. He lost a lot of opportunities because of this case. He lost his Marvel contract and a couple of other things. But he shared that he was glad that he got a chance to do some cool things anyway. And he also shared that he hopes that he'll be able to regain some of these opportunities that he lost. That being said, also the other issue that came up was his relationship with Meagan Good was under question. We tore Meagan Good to shreds behind leaving her husband, behind that divorce. My grandma shared with me a long time ago, Lord rest her soul, that in any given situation, when it comes to a relationship, the woman is always the heifer. When the relationship split, everybody thought something was wrong with Meagan Good. Everybody was talking about, why would she leave that good man? She just is afraid of commitment. What is she doing? People, life is complicated. And no matter how beautiful that relationship looked in our eyes, only Meagan Good and her husband know what it was like to be together. And if they parted ways, they're two adults, two intelligent adults. They understood that they had to do what they had to do. We don't know what was going on in that relationship. Sometimes we fit together with people for a season and then it's obvious that we're not going in the same direction. It doesn't make one person bad and one person good. I hate when we do that, especially when it comes to divorce. It doesn't always have to be nasty. So now she's in a relationship with a man who's very complicated. He's broken in some ways, and he looks like he's really struggling. And so my prayers are going out to Jonathan Majors. I think he's a wonderful actor. He had a very bright future. He's done some amazing things. Even if he doesn't get any future projects, he's already done so many great projects. He's a phenomenal actor, and I wish him the best. I wish him and Megan Good the best. We got to spread some love in 2024. You have to be intentional about being positive and giving people the benefit of the doubt. Don't automatically just assume the worst of people just because you can, because that's a reflection of your soul more than it is of them. Because we don't know them. We do not know these celebrities. We don't know when they're lying. We don't know when they're telling the truth. All we can do is perceive the situation based on what's inside of us. And so I want the best for Jonathan Majors. He's a young black man. I want the best for Megan Good. He hinted at possibly them getting married in the future because he said, he hopes that she sticks with them and that he doesn't lose her, because he knows that this is a lot to go through. But what I love about Jonathan Majors is he did not play. He said this is a race thing, but he did not play into the whole idea that, he shouldn't have been with the woman because she was white. He said, I loved her. I loved her. And he stood 10 toes down on that. And he was like, but it was just a toxic relationship. But I did love her. And apparently she saw that he got a text message from another woman, and she started chasing him and coming after him because of that, and he had to get away from her because he said he was not reckless with her body, which means he was not abusive. He was reckless with her heart, and he regrets that. And so I don't know if the other woman that texted him was Megan Good, because it seems like she slid right into the picture right after, the white woman was out of the picture. I can't remember the lady's name. Right after she was out of the picture, Megan Good slid into the picture. It seemed like right on cue. So, whether it was her or not, if they're not married, they're up for grabs, in my opinion. People break up and get with other people all the time. It's not a big deal. But, so that's what happened with the case. We wish the best for Jonathan Majors. Hopefully he comes out on top when it comes to all of this. I hope that he learns and that he accepts the fact that you can be guilty in other people's eyes, but you have to know who you are. You have to stand on who you are. People are going to always think the worst about you. And we have to be intentional about letting the negativity just die out. People are always going to spew negativity, spew hatred. That's going to happen until the day you die. How you respond to it is what really matters. And it's my decision in 2024 to not give negative people any radio time. No time, no response. The Bible says resist the devil and he will flee from you. People who are overly critical, people who are hateful, people who are slanderous, people who just love to see you fall, love to see you struggle, love to talk down to you, whether you know them or not. It can happen online. It can happen in the comments. Some people are just jerks. Those people deserve none of your attention. In 2024, please let them hear the crickets. You know what the crickets are? That's a sign of silence. That's a sign of you get no response from me. The Bible also talks about not casting your pearls among swine. Your attention is like pearls. And the swine can be like people who are just negative, vicious, venom-spewing monsters that don't even know it. But they thrive and they feed on negativity and hatred. Don't give these people any of your attention. Don't even argue with these people. Don't, because sometimes they ask questions that are so stupid, they already know the answer to them, they just want to argue. Some people really like to just start mess and argue because they're so broken and bitter inside. They have to get it out some way. So if they can get it out on you and ruin your day, they feel better themselves. It's like they have to do it. Let them do it with somebody else. I would give them the straight ignore. 100% ignore. I was watching a video the other day. Oh, what's the name of that man? It was the guy who said that God told him to walk across the country, and he started walking across the country, and he ended up looking homeless. He tore up his shoes, but he was almost reminds me of Forrest Gump, if you remember that movie where he was just running, and people started getting excited about seeing the man come through their city or their state. And he stopped in one area, and all he was doing was sharing the love of God, encouraging people. He looked crazy bad. Like he had holes in his shoes. He was burned up from the sun. His hair was all matted. He was dirty. And somebody came out of nowhere criticizing him for what he was doing. Everybody's loving him. Everybody's inspired. Everybody's like, go, go. This is so great that you're doing. This is so cool. He went viral. All because he said, God told me to walk from across the country and just like spread love or whatever. And people would try to offer him food. He wouldn't take it. He said God told him not to take food and just that he would take care of him. Some man came up trying to preach to him about how what he was doing was not biblical, and it was something, and people started trying to protect the guy who had been doing the walking, and say, man, we don't want to hear that. Like, we're here to take pictures with him. We're happy to see him. Like, go away. Because this man came out of nowhere with negativity. Out of all the people, he just decided, I'm going to be the one to let this man know he ain't everything he think he is. He's not trying to be everything. He's just walking. They defended him. But what was so beautiful about it, while this man was spewing hatred and criticism at this man and trying to use the scripture to do it, which was completely crazy, when I tell you this man looked so unbothered, he didn't even look at the man. He was going to his pockets. He was like eating some snacks that he had. He was taking pictures with people and completely ignoring the man that was criticizing him. Please, in 2024, ignore the crap out of negative people. All they want is attention. All they want is attention. Don't give them a speck of your attention. Be intentional about where your attention is placed. If you can manage your attention and focus on the things that are going to be productive for you, focus on good things. What is that scripture that says, think on these things? What sort of things are pure? What sort of things are of good report? Think on these things. It's important to be positive. It's important to see the good in situations. It's going to give you a better experience in your life. Run away from the negative people. Ignore the gossip, the slander. Ignore the people who just want to tear other people down. They do not deserve a speck of your attention. A speck of your attention. They don't deserve it. 2024, let's give full attention to the good things. And when things come out and they look questionable, let's give people the benefit of the doubt, because you just never know what's really going on. And let's hope for the best. I hope this video was inspirational to you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.